Comparative and superlative adjectives. Pre-intermediate English. Grammar Presentation, Level A2. Comparative adjectives. We use comparative adjectives to show change or make comparisons. This car is certainly better, but it's much more expensive. I'm feeling happier now. We need a bigger garden. Comparative adjectives. How we use comparative adjectives like older, better and more interesting. The city is more interesting than the countryside. This house is older than my house. She's better at cooking now than before. Comparative adjectives. We use comparative adjectives to compare two things or show change. The comparative form depends on the number of syllables in the adjective. Adjectives with one syllable. To make comparative forms with one-syllable adjectives, we usually add er. Old, older. Clean, cleaner. Slow, slower. Adjectives with one syllable. If an adjective ends in e, we add ar. Safe, safer. Nice, nicer. Adjectives with one syllable. If an adjective ends in a vowel and a consonant, we usually double the consonant. Big, bigger. Hot, hotter. Adjectives with two or more syllables. If a two-syllable adjective ends in a consonant and y, we change y to I and add er. Noisy, noisier. Happy, happier. Easy, easier. Adjectives with two or more syllables. We use more to make comparative forms for most other two-syllable adjectives and for all adjectives with three or more syllables. Crowded, more crowded. Stressful, more stressful. Dangerous, more dangerous. Adjectives with two or more syllables. Exception. You can either add er or use more with some two-syllable adjectives, such as common, cruel, gentle, handsome, likely, narrow, pleasant, polite, simple and stupid. I think life in the countryside is simpler than in the city. It's more simple to live in the city because everything you need is there. Irregular adjectives. The adjectives good, bad and far have irregular comparative forms. Good, better. Bad, worse. Far, further, farther. Than. When we want to say which person or thing we are comparing with, we can use than. Their house is cleaner than ours. Traffic is slower in the city than in the countryside. After the race I was more tired than Anne. Than. We use than when we want to compare one thing with another. She is 2 years older than me. New York is much bigger than Boston. He is a better player than Ronaldo. France is a bigger country than Britain. Comparative adjectives. When we want to describe how something or someone changes, we can use two comparatives with and. The balloon got bigger and bigger. Everything is getting more and more expensive. Grandfather is looking older and older. Comparative adjectives. We often use the with comparative adjectives to show that one thing depends on another. The faster you drive, the more dangerous it is. Equals when you drive faster, it is more dangerous. The higher they climbed, the colder it got. Equals when they climbed higher, it got colder. Comparative and superlative adjectives. Superlative adjectives. We use the with superlative adjectives. It was the happiest day of my life. Everest is the highest mountain in the world. That's the best film I have seen this year. I have 3 sisters, Jan is the oldest and Angela is the youngest. How to form comparative and superlative adjectives. We usually add and s to one-syllable words to make comparatives and superlatives. Old, older, oldest, long, longer, longest. How to form comparative and superlative adjectives. If an adjective ends in e, we add a or street. Nice, nicer, nicest, large, larger, largest. How to form comparative and superlative adjectives. If an adjective ends in a vowel and a consonant, we double the consonant. Big, bigger, biggest, fat, fatter, fattest. How to form comparative and superlative adjectives. If an adjective ends in a consonant and y, we change y to I and add or est. Happy, happier, happiest, silly, sillier, silliest. How to form comparative and superlative adjectives. We use more and most to make comparatives and superlatives for most two-syllable adjectives and for all adjectives with three or more syllables. Careful, more careful, most careful, interesting, more interesting, most interesting. How to form comparative and superlative adjectives. However, with these common two-syllable adjectives, you can either add are, and est, street, or use more and most, common, cruel, gentle, handsome, likely, narrow, pleasant, polite, simple, stupid, handsome, handsomer, more handsome, handsomest, most handsome, polite, politer, more polite, politest, most polite. How to form comparative and superlative adjectives. Examples. He is certainly handsomer than his brother. His brother is handsome, but he is more handsome. She is one of the politest people I have ever met. She is the most polite person I have ever met. Remember, comparative and superlative adjectives. For adjectives with one syllable, add and est. Sometimes the spelling changes. Don't forget the for the superlative. Tall, taller, the tallest. I'm taller than my brother. My father is the tallest in my family. Big, bigger, the biggest. My room is bigger than my sister's room. Our parents' room is the biggest room in the house. Remember, comparative and superlative adjectives. For adjectives with two syllables which end in y, take away the y and add ear and east. Don't forget the for the superlative. Easy, easier, the easiest. Maths is easier than science. English is the easiest subject. Remember, comparative and superlative adjectives. For other adjectives with two or more syllables, use more and most. Don't forget the for the superlative. Interesting, more interesting, the most interesting. That book is more interesting than my homework. This TV program is the most interesting. Remember, irregular comparative and superlative adjectives. The adjectives good, bad, and far have special forms. Good, better, the best, bad, worse, the worst, far, further, the furthest. Let's practice using comparatives and superlatives in English. We can use comparatives to compare things and superlatives to say which thing is top in a group. Cats are faster than mice. Science is more difficult than maths. The cheetah is the fastest animal. I think art is the most difficult subject. Let's practice using comparatives and superlatives in English. Examples. My sister is taller than me. I think English homework is easier than history homework. The most intelligent animal is the chimpanzee. The River Nile is longer than the Mississippi. Learn. English Kids is the best website. Let's practice using comparatives and superlatives in English. Examples. This book is more interesting than my homework. My brother is worse at tennis than me. My phone is the most expensive thing I have. The cheetah is the fastest animal. The blue whale is the heaviest animal. Let's practice using comparatives and superlatives in English. Examples. I'm taller than my brother. Apples are bigger than grapes. It was sunnier yesterday than today. Butterflies are more beautiful than flies. My brother is the noisiest person in our family. That's the best pizza I've ever eaten. I think art is the most difficult subject. Let's practice using comparatives and superlatives in English. Examples. My sister is shorter than me. Jupiter is the largest planet. That's the scariest film I've ever seen. Do you think football is more exciting than tennis? I think Sunday is better than Saturday. Fruit is healthier than chocolate. The most intelligent animal is the chimpanzee. It was the worst day of my life. Happy learning. Thank you for watching.